Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Love Dogs channel. Today's video is a continuation of the backpacking gear series, and we're talking about the last of what backpackers call the big three, which is your shelter system, your sleep system, and your pack. We talked about the sleep system and the shelters a little bit in previous videos, and today we're going to talk about packs. There are three main types of backpacking packs, and those are external frame, internal frame, and frameless. I'll just briefly go over what each of those is, and I'll add a quick photo of each one on the screen as I talk about it so you kind of have a visual of what it looks like. First up is external frame packs. These are packs that are designed to carry a lot of weight. They were used by the US Army up until about the mid-2000s. I actually got stuck using them when I went through basic. The identifying feature is that the frame of the pack is on the outside, clearly visible. The pack itself is attached to that frame. The type that we used in the Army, we actually called Frameless Packs, and there was a complete system of how you could attach things to the pack with Frameless clips. I didn't think they were particularly comfortable, but when I went through basic training, they kind of threw gear at you and made you use it whether it fit or not. So that's probably why I didn't have a very good experience with an external pack. But obviously you can get civilian versions of these, and people love them, so apparently they are or can be quite comfortable. I don't have personal experience with this. I know a lot of people who use them, especially people who are carrying a lot of weight. So don't let the ultralight backpacking world fool you. These packs are still being used. These are so often referred to as old school packs, but there are plenty of people still using them, and there are reasons for it. Some of the civilian companies that make external frame packs include Kelty, Alps Mountaineering, Outdoor Products, and Vargo. There may be others, but those are the ones that I found most easily. You can also just go to any Army surplus store and pick up an old Alice pack for probably very cheap. The pros of external frame packs are that they're capable of carrying very heavy loads, and that's really the main reason people use them. So if you're going to be carrying a lot of weight, an external frame pack might be a good choice for you. The pack itself sits on the frame and therefore farther away from your back, which increases ventilation. They tend to be very affordable. You can replace the pack without having to replace the frame and the straps. You can also replace the straps, and most of these packs are extremely durable. The cons are that they can be more difficult to adjust, like detailed adjustments. They're bigger and bulkier and heavier. Most of these packs are going to weigh in empty around the 3 to 6 pound range. The fact that they do sit taller on your back means that if you are moving around in really rugged terrain, rocky, climbing a lot, in steep terrain, or if you just don't have good balance with weight on your back, you might not want an external pack. With any of the gear that I mention on the channel, a lot of the cons really probably aren't cons to a lot of people who use that gear. So what it comes down to is what you're going to use it for, how you're going to use it, how much weight you're willing and able to carry. And, you know, it just comes back again to personal preference. Don't let anyone convince you that you have to have any certain gear or that you have to be ultralight. For me personally, the only reason I've been trying to pare down my weight over the last decade, that's how long it's taken me to afford to upgrade some of this to ultralight gear. But the reason is because I have exercise-induced asthma, and the heavier my pack, the more issues with breathing I have. So that's why I've shifted. Again, it's personal preference, whatever you can carry, however you're using it, however you want to go outside, just do it. So next up, I'm going to talk about internal frame packs. These are just like they sound. They're packs with the frame on the inside, so it's not clearly visible. These are very common packs. They're made by a lot of different outdoor companies. They all look very similarly, typically with a top access point to one large compartment, and then maybe a separate compartment at the bottom with its own access point. And many of these internal frame packs also have what we call a brain, which is basically a big top pocket. It's actually the lid to the larger compartment, but it's its own compartment. And you can oftentimes detach it, and there's a flap underneath it if you don't want to use the big brain on the whole pack. So these packs can carry a lot of weight as well, and they're typically pretty rugged and durable. They weigh around the 3 to 5 pound range when empty. They sit directly against your back and are contoured with your back. So the fit is usually pretty snug and comfortable, and the weight and the pack move with your body as you move. The way you pack determines where the weight sits, so you just have to be cautious of that and try to keep the bulk of your weight low in the pack so that it sits on your hips, closer to your hips, and your legs are carrying the weight. You always, no matter what kind of pack you have, want your legs to be carrying the weight, and that falls mostly in the way you pack. Some of the newer internal frame packs like Osprey have what they call an anti-gravity suspension system that allows for more ventilation of air across your back and shoulders and a more even distribution of weight. The pros of an internal frame pack: it sits close to your body, allowing the weight to stay close to your body. They have large capacities, carrying capacities. It can carry a lot of weight comfortably. They're easy to adjust. They're relatively compact given the volume they can carry. The cons might include the weight of the pack itself. Even empty, it's 3 to 5 pounds. Also, even with the anti-gravity mesh suspension system, I felt like I still got pretty sweaty. They can be very expensive. The weight is a little bit harder to distribute. It's more dependent on how you pack. So next up, I'll talk about frameless packs. These are the packs that have no frame at all. They are simply put a bag with straps and maybe a hip belt. These feature a very flexible construction. They're lightweight. They aren't made to carry much weight. Usually the volumes max out at 35 to 40 liters. A lot of ultralight backpackers use these nowadays. I would say they're definitely not made for everyone. As much as I've tried to get my own pack weight down over the years, I'm not willing to go quite that minimal. That said, they're very popular and a lot of backpackers love them. The pros of a frameless pack are, as I said, they're very lightweight, they're very comfortable if loaded correctly and not overloaded, and they're just simple and easy. The cons are that they can't carry a lot of weight, so typically 35 pounds is pushing it. They also sit directly against your back, which is comfortable but can get pretty sweaty. They don't distribute weight very well to the hips and legs, but then again, you're not supposed to be carrying a lot of weight with them. So yeah, I would say again, these are great packs, but probably not for a lot of people, despite their popularity. Their popularity is based on a world of fastest known times and triple crowners and not so much the average person wanting to be outdoors connecting with nature. So your mileage may vary, but I think those types of bags are for a very specific audience. Honestly, each of these bags is for a very specific audience, and I guess that's kind of the point. So you kind of have to just learn about each type and go with what you think is going to work best for you. Lastly, I'm going to suggest, correctly or not, that packs like the one I currently use, made by Zipp, might be something of a hybrid. Honestly, it is an external frame pack, just a very minimal frame. These packs utilize a patented arc frame system, which basically is, it has 3 horizontal carbon stays, top, middle, bottom, and then 2 vertical carbon stays, one on each side. These packs, in my humble opinion, are a good middle ground for people who are wanting to go lighter, but not crazy light. Mine is still a 64-liter volume pack. It just happens to weigh under 2 pounds empty. They're made from lighter material, but yet durable material. Usually it's either a urethane-coated grid stop fabric, or you can also get Dyneema composite fabric. The pros of a pack like the Zipp packs, they're very lightweight, as I mentioned, and durable. So they may feel like they're not as durable, but they are. I've had mine for 4 seasons, 5 seasons. I can't remember. These packs are also waterproof, even though a lot of people I know still will put their gear inside either a garbage bag liner, or like what I do personally is I compartmentalize my gear into dry bags just to be safe, but also because I like to be organized and I like to have different types of gear in its separate dry bag. These packs are very adjustable. You can change the arc in the frame to make the pack sit closer or farther away from your back. You can swap out hip belts, you can swap out shoulder pads, you can purchase additional attachments like utility packs, camera packs, water bottle pockets, you name it, they've got it probably. I think this is probably the most comfortable pack I've ever worn, for me personally. So it's one of the best decisions I ever made to switch to the Zipp pack. What I use is called an Arc Hull Zipp. It's a 64 liter and it works really well for me. So it can easily carry about 35 to 40 pounds, although I think Zipp advises 35 maybe as the max. The cons of this pack are, depending on how much you arc the frame, you do lose some of the inside volume of the pack. So the more arced the frame is, the less internal volume you have, because that arc is cutting into your internal volume. Another con is that these packs are expensive. Unless you go external frame, nowadays backpacks are just expensive. Determine what's important to you and figure out what you can afford and what you need, and go from there. I think with that, I'll stop here. The dogs are playing and getting kind of noisy anyway, so I'll take a short break and I'll come back and I'll show you my Zipp Arc Hull Zipp 64 liter. Stay tuned. All right, so this is the Zipp Arc Hull Zipp 64 liter. This is my own personal pack. This is what I switched to from using an Osprey Aura AG 64 liter. So starting at the bottom, you have these lashing loops down here. This is where I normally put my tent in a dry bag. Slide it through these loops and then tighten them down. So that is the very bottom. And then you have bottom pockets, one on each side here, with a nice elastic top, stretchy. This is the hip belt. So if you look closely, you've got these little lashing points on the hip belt as well. Zipp does make a hip belt pocket that you can purchase separately, and or you can add it on when you customize your pack, but it lashes on at these points right here. And then the buckle system is pretty simple, does the job. So these are the straps, and again, you've got lashing points on the shoulder straps all the way up the length of the strap. I purchased shoulder pads separately that connect to the strap. This is the sternum strap. The other end is over here. This is the mesh shield. This usually sits right up against your back, so there's plenty of air that gets through, nice ventilation. And then if I can show you, I'll tip this over and show you the frame system. So I don't know if you can see these tiny little carbon stays the length of the pack. That is how the arc is formed. You can arc it as much as you want, and as I said, the more you arc, the more it takes out of the volume of your pack, so you just have to be cautious of that. So you've got plenty of airflow through there between your pack and the part that actually touches your back. The pack has these little loops down the sides. There's one at the bottom too. My bandana is just tied through it. But these are lashing points for attachments. And so this top pocket was an added attachment, and you just use these little bungee cords that go through the loops, and connect it that way. So I have one on each side. And then this whole front area is a pocket, and this is a pretty good sized pocket. There's probably an actual volume for it. If I go to Zipp's website and find it, I'll just put it on the video. But it's a decent sized pocket. You can get a lot in that pocket. And that is a zip pocket on the outside front of the pack. So the top access is the access to the main compartment. Goes all the way to the bottom of the pack. There's no pocket for a hydration bladder, but this is top access to the main compartment of the bag. I'll show you why they call it an ARC-Haul zip. This zipper goes all the way around the outer edge of the bag, and this allows you to just open the main compartment of the pack like this and access everything that's inside. I love this feature. I use it a lot, so I don't have to dig through my pack to find specific things when I need them. I can just open this part up and grab exactly what I need. On the inside, you have these two straps that keep your things from shifting inside the main compartment. You've got one attachment loop there. So then once it's all packed, you can zip that up, sit it upright, close the Velcro at the top, and then roll it down. So this makes the internal volume of the pack somewhat adjustable. If you don't have a lot inside, you can roll this down really tight. There is a clip here that you can clip the roll top closed. They also have separate straps that you can purchase that will let you clip the sides down for more compression. I don't have those. Or if you're carrying a lot, you can roll this down once or twice to keep it waterproof, but you have all of that space up at the top. Again, you know, do the research. Figure out what gear you're taking before you choose a pack, because that will help you decide which kind of pack you need. If you're going to be carrying a lot of heavy gear, you probably don't want one of these, because these are designed really to only carry about 35 to 40 pounds max, which is still a significant amount of weight. I mean, I've pretty much maxed this out and it's still been comfortable. Know what gear you're taking, know about how much it weighs, and then decide from there what pack is going to best fit your needs. Drop your comments and questions in the comments, and I hope everybody is safe and healthy and doing okay, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks very much.